right. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the Highway and Waterways Building Committee meeting to order from Thursday, August 14, 2025. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carrico,
Present.
Mr. Marion, Mr. Hess, Ms. Parker, Mr. Featherling, Mr. Donnell, Mr. Miller, Mr. Kirkstra, Mr. Smith, Ms. Rittman-Agemi, Ms. Amber Turner,
Present.
Mr. Crutcher, Dr. Nims, Ms. Denise Turner, Mr. Alexander Hildebrand, Mr. Long. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. I need a motion on a second to allow Amber Turner, Featherland, Marion second. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay. Welcome. All right, I don't have any public comments in front of me here. I don't have any public comments. Is there any public comments? Is there any public comments? You're not? Next will be the approval of the minutes from July 10th, 2025. You can have a motion on a second, please. Denise Turner, second by Mr. Hess. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. There's no bidding, no letting, so next will be the county engineer pay estimate. First, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to combine to approve but avoid the reading of all of the parts. So you already have that in your packet. So if you have any question, we'll open for a comment. So Denise Turner is made a motion, second by Dr. Nims. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, do you have any questions, comments, or anything for that? You had a chance to look at it, so nothing is specific?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay, we waived the reading, so. All right, I need a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico,
Aye.
Mr. Marion, Mr. Hess, Mr. Featherling, Mr. Kirkstra, Ms. Amber Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Crutcher, Dr. Nims, Ms. Denise Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next will be the resolution. Let's see here. I need a motion and a second for the resolution. Are you gonna go?
I'll go ahead and read it.
For the record, please. Go ahead.
All right. This is an authorizing approval of professional services agreement supplement number 1 for design engineering services phase 2 with Hampton, Lenzini, and Renwick Incorporated, and appropriate motor fuel tax MFT funds for design of a bridge replacement on County Highway 14 in Momence Township. What this is an addition. We had an original agreement. The scope changed a little bit. They had to do a little extra work, so this is authorizing $6,000 extra dollars to complete the design of the bridge replacement.
Mr. Hess, are you making a motion? Right. So let's make the motion on the second and open for a question. Denise Turner, second. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Greg, I found out that people do watch the meetings on Tuesday because I have 7 calls. We appropriated for 2 bridges, both of them being in my district, both of them less than a mile apart, and they're concerned if they're going to be done at the same time.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I
wanted to ask that in the open meeting. I knew the question, or I knew the answer, but I wanted to open it so if they're watching, they know what's going on.
Each route is each other's detour route. So if we close them both, there'd be mayhem out there. We're not going to do that.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments on this resolution? No questions, no comments? All right, I need a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico,
Aye.
Mr. Marion, Mr. Hess,
Aye.
Mr. Featherling, Mr. Kirkstra,
Aye.
Ms. Amber Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Crutcher, Dr. Nims, Ms. Denise Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is the Waterways. First on the Waterways here, we have the Aroma Park Management Project update. And I would like to see if maybe Eric, do you have, oh, Ben is gonna have something for us here.
We're done.
I know, I heard of that. I heard of that.
So we were out there doing some final measurements with our team saw there was already trailers and people in the water. So certainly fantastic. On our side, we are completing final pay estimates. We've got the retainage on the contract, things like that. So we're doing final adjustments and paperwork. So we'll be bringing bills to the committees for payment. But as far as the work is concerned, it's been completed. I don't have the exact math, but we removed about 8,300 cubic yards of sand and sediment out of the river to open that channel up and allow boat access. Obviously, the priority there being for public safety, but also for recreation.
You are 13.
13.
Oh, go ahead.
Good morning. So, I've been out there a few times. Is there going to be a dock there or no?
No, so the boat launch is just as it is. I would say that maybe as a kind of continuation of that. So we're not building any additional structures in the river. We're not placing any markers on the channel. But when you are out there, you can relatively clearly see where the deeper channel is. It's much darker as you're out there. That, you know, because one of the questions we get is, there's going to be flags out there or some way to know exactly where we are when you go through there. And most people have on their boats some sort of technology to show the bottom. But even if they don't, you can pretty clearly see where that channel is. The design that Burke put together was more about a nice narrow channel that'll keep higher velocities through there. So we want to avoid putting anything out there that would subsequently maybe slow. I know that, you know, we talked a little bit internally. There's a couple sandbars when you first get off the launch. You know, if we had removed that would have made a really shallow kind of wide channel through there, and I don't think the velocity would have stayed where we want it to be. So there's still quite a bit of sand out in the river, but certainly easier access for boaters now.
Got you. One more. I remember maybe a month ago, we were talking about putting was it mile markers in there?
So yeah, there's been some discussion about signage on the Indiana side. They purchased a bunch of signage on their end, and I believe that there was a similar project proposed on our area where, you know, potentially at the bridges we'd have, you know, identifying markers. I think that could potentially be a public safety effort. If you're out as a boater and they say, well, where are you? I mean, on the expressway, the mile markers are there, so that way you can identify to emergency responders, hey, I just passed mile post, you know, 312. They can much more easily, you know, figure out where you are. So that's potentially something we could look into. And now I will say in Indiana, there was a little bit of concern on how, when Eric and I was at two or three meetings ago, they were trying to figure out who was going to place them. You know, how do you get on the side of a bridge? You know, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. And so they were still kind of working through theirs. And I would say that Craig says this a lot. We gotta walk before we can run. You know, we're certainly taking cues from them. So, you know, but I agree, there is some need for that. I don't think we're quite ready there yet to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Foster?
Good morning. I have a question. There was some discussion about having a boat dock on the east side of the river, Sun River Terrace, with conjunction with the Park District. Are you aware of any of that, Ben?
So we looked at, I'm glad Delbert's in the room with me, probably 30, 35 locations for boat access. We did engage Piggish Engineering to do designs for 2 locations on properties that we own. I heard a similar thing where potentially we could have boat access in a Park District property north of Illinois 17 for access to that pool. And that was directly across from, you know, when we were looking at the island purchase at one point and trying to get access through there. I haven't heard any updates on that, but I certainly can reach out to Russ at the Park District and see if they've got some follow-up on that. But I agree that would be a fantastic asset for us.
Right.
Potentially a partnership that we might engage in. If they're looking for some sort of funding, we certainly could bring to you a proposal for you guys to vote on if there's need for additional funding. But I haven't heard from the Park District a follow-up on that, but I did hear that same thing.
Right, and I know that when we had the Economic Alliance meeting at the ice rink, I did talk with the new head of the Park District, and I do plan on going to their board meeting this month.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we've got several irons in the fire with them. As far as projects going, we're maintaining a couple grants for the Park District as well. So it might be a good time to, now that this project's complete and we've got a little bit of time freed up, maybe have a meeting with them and talk about the next steps on accessing the river.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No?
All right, thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. All right, next is the Kankakee County Waterways Advisory Subcommittee update. I was not here, I was out of town, so I'm gonna ask Eric to give us an update on that.
Well, unlike Ben, our work is not done, unfortunately. Just getting started. So a couple updates. Todd Huntley, who is our representative on the Indiana Commission, reported that the State Line Bridge, which was slated to be removed in October of this year, has been pushed back to the springtime due to some permitting issues that they're encountering over there. That bridge is actually going to be relocated to a park and will be like a memorial site over there somewhere for the community. We talked about the MAP project already. Much of the discussion focused around funding mechanisms. Unfortunately, I think in the subcommittee we're finding out that without funding, a lot of the projects or initiatives that we want to take on just simply are not going to be possible. Therefore, we brought Aqua Illinois into the room, or they will be coming to the next meeting anyway. We think it's important that they're using the water from the Kankakee River in our community to send up north to communities near Chicago. They obviously are a very important stakeholder, and we need to try to figure out how we can involve them to potentially bring in some funding to do some of these projects that we're looking to do. In addition to that, a homework assignment that we sent everybody back with was to develop a list of landowners, property owners, or people who are willing to allow us to work off of their property. I think over the winter time we would like to compile this list, go through the legal process of getting approval to use their land to go out in the springtime with Greg and his team at the highway department to start clearing some of the trees and debris that is causing some of the issues. The Illinois State Police Conservation Unit was there as well, and they provided an update on like safety issues that they're seeing in different areas of the river. I think the chairman's going to go out on a boat ride with them in a few weeks as well. They open that up to anybody else on the board who might be interested in taking a ride, just to get a better perspective on some of the issues that are out there. That's about it. Our next meeting is October 2nd at 8:30 in this room.
Any questions for him?
Anything, John, that I missed? I think you were there. All good? Okay.
Questions? Comments?
October 2nd. Yep, Thursday, October 2nd, 8:30 a.m.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so next, before the building here, I think our engineer has an announcement to make.
I just wanted to let everybody know that I think we've got all the bugs worked out of our river equipment. We're ready to schedule a show and tell where we can actually show you what this stuff actually does. We'll probably send out a notice next week telling you where and when, and we got to pick a place where it's easy to get to. We originally thought it was going to be Aroma Park, but that would it's a little too tight. We'll find somewhere else. But we'll let you know, like I said, where and when, and you're all invited.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Next is building. Mr. Workman. I need a motion and a second to accept the reports from buildings. Crutcher, I believe it was Marion, second. Okay, everybody in favor signify by say aye. Anybody opposed, same sign. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start out with the facility due report. We had 159 work orders completed for the month of June. It actually went up a little bit. 43 are currently being addressed. Most of them are that were completed were at the old jail because we still have that down for maintenance. Over the weekend at JCDC, since the Department of Corrections is coming in, they put in over 60 or 70 work orders just over the past weekend. What they're doing is going cell to cell to make sure that we're getting everything to a T so that nothing's outstanding when the Department of Corrections comes through. Any questions about that? Move on to the financial report. We're currently at a budget of $848,355.15 compared to $1,011,554.56 at this time last year. That means I'm $163,199.40 under what last year's budget was at this point. Most of the savings are on the line items we're above on line items 52,100, which is building maintenance materials. That's stuff I buy to get things fixed. You can't ever stop a jail from breaking down, and with all the PMs going on in both jails, we're out there gathering materials and sources to get it done. We are currently at $848,355. I take it. I'm sorry, I'm misreading. $110,071.90 currently. Last year at this time we were at $101,784.68. The budget for the year is $140,000, so we're still coming in on that. Line 56,200 maintenance contracts. We talk about this every month. We're currently at $106,339.33. Comparative to last year at $95,186.42. And once again, it's all about rate increases. Any questions? We'll move on to the building report. At the 189 building here, as you can see, maybe you did or didn't as you're walking in, we want to say thanks to Greg and the County Highway Department. They did a great job of doing our parking lot area. My guys engaged in trying to repaint the crosswalk area and the lines going to it. Unfortunately, that alley is pretty tore up, so it's not looking perfect. We're going to try touching it up a little bit more, but with all the cracks and crevices in it, we just can't make it any better than what we're kind of getting at. At least it's brightened up and people can see it nowadays. The west parking lot, if you exit out today, if you haven't already seen it, so on the street side closer to the railroad, we tore that out and put new rock in there and made the beds look a little nicer from the street version. Annex, really nothing going on there. Old jail, like I said, we're working on the PM maintenance there. Department of Corrections will be here on the 20th of August. They're going to inspect both the old jail and new jail. We're engaged in not just doing preventive maintenance on the push buttons and showers. We're also grinding down all the paint off of the 22 basic picnic table benches that we have in all the different cells and common areas, and repainting those as well. Since there's nobody in the building, the smell's not going to affect anybody. Roof inspection is scheduled for next week. That's our 1-year roof inspection after it was installed. So we should hear back on how that looks. It's actually Langlois who installed it and the actual rep from the material company. All generators for the year have been PM'd as of this week. That's a good thing to make sure they're up and running. We've been with these storms lately, we've been running on generator for anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple hours in some cases. At the Jerome Combs Center, we have replaced the north Sallyport door. We talked about that last month, It has been completed as of yesterday. It's working fine. We talked about Eco Labs, changing over from Eco Labs to Brady Plus on our chemicals. I've actually engaged with Eco Labs here in the last 3 weeks. And when we were talking about how I got costs down on paper products and chemicals, we were ordering through Veritiv before. He come back with numbers. Well, the funny thing is he come back with numbers and he just raised us 5%. So why lower it and then re-raise us back to kind of where we were, not where we were before, because they were outrageous before. So when I engaged with Eco Labs, because they found out that I was changing or trying to change over, the actual senior manager of the government and school programs come out, super nice guy, and the manager for the area come out. We've had 2 different meetings since then, both very good meetings. They actually said, why don't you just order straight from us out of Joliet? Why are you going through Veritiv? Well, I thought that's who we had to go through as being the second party shipping party. Comes to find out we can order direct, and they've actually come back with numbers that are even 5 to 10 to 15% lower still. So we are now going to engage direct shipment from them. Come to find out some of these numbers, they come back with numbers that they're showing us what their cost is and what they presented to Veritiv. Some of these numbers are coming back at like 300% markup. And I can't believe that it's been going on for so long and it hasn't really been caught. But we got a credit for $9,813 from Veritiv. I just spent $7,200 on paper products to stock us up for a couple months. I will use the rest of that credit, and then we're just going to use them as a temporary back and forth to keep the other competitor in line. I don't think I'll be ordering much more through them, but you know, every now and then just to keep it safe with us. So that's things I'm experiencing and things I'm trying to correct over the time. So we'll be saving a little bit more on that as well. But we're going to continue using it instead of trying to change out the 130 containers and mop rooms and all that. We're just going to keep going with them because they've actually come back with some decent pricing for us. Once again, at Jerome Combs, the Department of Corrections will be out there on the 20th. I will be engaged in a little bit of that. I'd like to walk with the person inspecting, and if there's any issues or foreseeable things that she wants corrected, I can at least be on hand for that. Public safety, no real issues out there. We've been good. The courthouse, we walked through 2 weeks ago Friday with Cole Jarvis, the architect that we're going to engage with. Paige from Bear was there, as well as Ben Wilson, Eric Cavender, myself, and they brought out 2 HVAC and electrical engineers. It took us 2.5 hours to walk that courthouse and hit pretty much every single point. So they had a good idea exactly what the schematics of what's going to happen with this renovation. They did some kind of 3D digital imaging as we were going, so they got that. I took them up to the 4th floor, let them look at all the ductworking and HVAC, and told them that this is a priority on that part of it since we've been struggling over the years with heating and cooling in that building. I also went down to the basement here and I found quite a few prints from remodels from 1967 and 1991. I've sent those all over to Cole. Alara also has some from doing the electrical MEP plan over there, so we're getting those back, and they are digitalized from Alara, so those will be going over to Cole Jarvis as well. We're working on that moving forward. We hope to have some kind of plans here in the next 30 days or so we can get it to Bear and start the bidding process. I know that we are going to change a little bit of it around. We may not get started till about the 1st of the year. We thought we'd get started a little bit earlier, but there's some areas that have changed. Jim Rowe's office, there's some high profile cases going on that have changed dates, so there's certain areas we cannot be in while that's going on. So we may just, you know, float the boat a little bit and push it back so that we make sure that it gives us also extra time to make sure that these plants are set and set good. Animal control, we had a couple of AC repairs out there on the old units. Those were the ones that were on the building originally. Other than that, the only other issue out there is while we were having all these high dew points and high humidity days, I found that the ceilings were dripping, even though the duct working is wrapped. I want to call it an attic because basically it's between the drop ceiling and the roof line. It's only about 3 feet, so that it's just like an attic. It's super hot up there. Well, come to find out, I don't know how this happened and how it got surpassed, but some of the vents got covered over with insulation and drywall. So we're going to have to go in there, cut some of that ventilation out, and I want to propose putting a couple of fans to suck from one end of the building through to the other building to keep that hot air out of there. The temperature in that little space alone was up in the high 90s, low 100s, and it's just causing basically like a glass of water. Pipes are sweating no matter if they're wrapped or not, and ceiling tiles are starting to drip and stuff like that. Good thing we're towards the end of the year, so that gives a little time to get in there and get it done for next year. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Foster.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You mentioned the Department of Correction coming. Is this a regular walkthrough, or is this
It
something
is.
Okay.
The Department of Corrections comes around. I'm not sure if it's once a year or more. That's more for corrections than the sheriff. They could answer that better than I can. I do know they come around at least once a year to make their inspections for the jails.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You got like what are they looking for? Like a general.
They're basically just walking around. They'll go into the medical section and see how things are in there. They'll enter some of the dorm rooms to see how things are running there, cleanliness.
Right.
If there's things broken, what's the temperatures? There's a variety. It's not just on the building maintenance side. It's on a lot of different things. They look for fire inspections. They look for my generator inspections. They want those. They need health inspections. There's about a list of about 15 different inspections that go on in the building. Not just me, but other entities that do their inspections for the year.
Okay.
That's what they're looking at.
And then if it's not up to what it is, obviously, like anything else, you get a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I think they probably do a summary. Once again, that's not my forte of what that's all about. It'd have to be asked to the sheriff and undersheriff.
Have you ever seen any instances where it's not up to what it's supposed to be? Not our jail, but I'm pretty sure you work on different facilities, right? Jails.
Just mine only.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I try to keep mine up pretty good.
Okay, so I was just curious, like, if it wasn't, what the heck?
Those are questions I really can't answer as a maintenance director.
I'd like to get in the middle a little bit of the questions here. Is that I think it's all valuable questions. You have a very good questions to be answered. But I think the sheriff probably would be the best person in doing criminal justice to answer those questions, because he probably can only answer in regarding to the building itself.
Right.
Yeah.
When it comes to aspect of the air conditioning and all the other little things, but all the other things that you asked, I think will be a little bit off from what he will probably know.
And I was just curious. So it may be off, but it was just in the sense of you say you're working on the building, what you did not up to par. So
when we say we got work orders in, work orders mainly would be like Flex B number 2 cell needs the toilet plunged because they're throwing pudding cups down it, or a sock got stuck in it, or the push button for the shower, it's only going for 3 seconds instead of 15 seconds. Those are maintenance work orders that we're doing. It's not more or less, hey, the wall's falling down or the floors are dirty. It's repairs to the smaller stuff or a pipe might be leaking, or an air conditioning isn't cooling. That's what I work on.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Any questions? Comments?
And then I'm going to do one other thing that recently we've been talking about. So as I've talked in the past, I went up to Will County Jail and we talked about how they have a little bit of different layout on their custodials and mechanics. They also have an electrician on hand, an HVAC guy, a plumber. Those are all union guys that work there. So I looked back in, and thanks Eric Cavender for doing a little research and going back through my invoices of what we paid like Glady and Precision over the last couple of years. So I'm just trying to look into this. It's not going to happen this year. Our contract for the Teamsters comes up 1st of December. It's too close for us to try getting all these things, crunched and in place. But it's something that we're looking at here in the future. So last year, for 2023, for instance, we paid out to Glady and Precision for doing HVAC and plumbing repairs to the county. We paid out a total of $148,069.80. The labor cost on that was $71,649.72. That comes out to an average of $140 an hour that we're paying them to do their labor. Materials for that year would be around $76,420. So that actually comes out to 55.25 days that somebody was working, and when you count up the hours. There's 2,080 hours in a work year. You minus some vacation and stuff like that. So basically for a quarter of the year, we paid $71,000 in salary. So what we're trying to maybe do is get somebody on hand as a qualified certified plumber and HVAC guy that we can pay them at the rate that the union would pay them, which is somewhere between, don't get me exact on this, but it's somewhere between $42 and $52 an hour. At $42 an hour, it's an $87,000 salary. My guys are right at the $29.50 mark, and that's $61,000. So we're only paying about $26,000 more a year to have somebody for not just the 550 or the 55 days worked, but for the other 260 days. So 3/4 more a year, about the same price as what we're paying out in wages now. In 24, it went up. It went to 515 hours worked, which is 64.5 days that we've paid somebody to come here and do work. Labor cost was at $75,583. Materials last year was $114,030. Now you got to imagine the people adding 20 and 30 and 40% on top of the materials as they're installing and doing so forth. And I know in past meetings I talked about buying R22 and some of the other additives, cooling additives at our cost compared to what they were doing. So as of this year, keep those numbers in mind. As of this year, because I've engaged my guys more and I'm outsourcing my materials, as of this year, for over the last 8 months, I've only had 24.5 hours paid out to Glady or other outside sources. Materials this year, 114,000 last year. As of 8 months in, we're at 15,000 in materials. So me doing the outsourcing, now that will be in line 52,100. You'll see that's a little bit over. It's about 6,000 over what we were last year, but it's a savings of about 70,000 right now. So that's why we're trying to engage in maybe looking into getting a qualified plumber and HVAC guy in the near future. It would save us quite a bit of money, significant amount of money actually. I'll have more of this over the next couple of months. Like I said, I got on it too late to get into the first year. Just coming on and trying to get all the buildings going in the first 8 months that I've been here, it's been battle enough getting them up to par. So, but I am moving forward and looking at other cost effectiveness for us. Any questions?
So basically what you are doing is just sharing that information with the committee members here.
Yes.
For a future
future
research and see how that can
Correct.
be done.
It may or may not happen. We have to work that out with the Teamsters Union too to make sure that they're okay with it. We got to talk to the Plumbers Union, the HVAC guys. Sheriff has to be involved in some of this. These are just things I'm presenting now, so you know I'm working on some other alternative ways of saving this money for the county.
If this comes to a point to go forward with that, is that still going to be under your budget?
It would be under my budget. It would be adding a guy on, but we're paying out. Last year we paid out $75,000 in labor to these companies, and we only had them for a quarter of the year. Can you imagine now what it would be if we had to pay them for the full year? We can get a guy in at $90,000 and have him for another 3/4 of the year. He'd also be working on some of the other stuff. Not everything is going to be broken at all times, but there's a ton of other plumbing and HVAC things that guy could be doing.
So you're talking about maybe a quicker response when it comes to the service.
We have a guy on
and
site.
then saving some money.
Yeah, he can go to all the buildings and work on all those projects.
Yeah. Let me go with Mr. Fedlin first. I believe he asked. Go ahead. I'll go to you, Marianne.
You know, you're throwing labor numbers and everything all around. You got extra union contracts. You're gonna have to increase your liability.
Yeah, that's why we have
coverage.
to look into
You're
it.
gonna have to buy a truck because you're gonna have one of those service trucks that has all winky dinks for the plumber to stock up all the stuff in. Otherwise,
We have all that.
you have all that already.
We have all the materials. Yes.
Okay.
I just went out and spent $2,500 for a pro press
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. We have cutters. We have torches. We have soldering. We have all of it
okay.
on hand. We have the vacuum pumps. We have the gauges. They're all sitting here.
Okay.
They were used at one time.
Okay.
How I got away from that, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to re-engage in saving the money of us doing the work instead of an outside source.
Because you ever seen a guy at a Glady open up the side doors
Yeah.
on his truck? He's got,
We
stuff.
have it all.
you know.
And believe it or not, in some of these costs, I was talking earlier with Matt Hillebrand, that some of these costs you see on my budget, I've gone out and spent just over $10,000 this year on new mowers. We've talked about every time I bought a new mower.
Mhm.
That's something that we're not going to see next year. So that 10,000 is already this year. So that next 2, 3, 4, 5 years we won't be buying it. I also did that with hand tools and some other tools that I found that I go into these places and a guy be like, hey, can I borrow your screwdriver? I don't have it. Hey, can I borrow your pliers? I have bought every last maintenance mechanic on my team a set of tools so that they have the correct instruments to use to get the jobs done. Not borrowing, not running back and forth, saving time and getting it done. And I probably spent $6,000 or $7,000 on just that
Mhm.
to make sure they have what they need to get the jobs done.
Okay, but there's a lot of other expenses involved besides
There
this.
is. We have to look at what the union fees are going to be. We have to look at insurances and stuff. Most of that's going to be the same, but
You'd be
you
well
were right.
over $100 an hour, $115 an hour by the time you get done.
Well, that's why I'm trying to research it. It's still better than at $160 an hour is what they were this past year. Average was actually for fiscal year 25, it's gone up to 153.
Okay.
So yes, and this is just thought patterns and what I'm trying to
Good
work
be thinking,
forward.
always thinking.
Yes, yes, sir.
Move forward.
Marianne?
I didn't know if there's anybody that's on your maintenance team that would be eligible for like maybe a promotion or a stipend if they have some of that experience that can maybe go to training or something.
We've talked about that in the past, and I've gone to my guys. No, they're really not. There's only one guy that's trying to move forward. He's taken the basic electric and some of the other. He's taken welding. Some of the older guys has been in the system already.
Yeah.
They're just keep working in the system, and they're at the age where they're like, I don't really want to go back to school and get any certifications.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm trying to. I try to engage with them, and as I told you, I've looked into the HVAC for myself just to get a certification and get basically refresher on some of the stuff I don't know.
Gotcha.
I wish I could get more guys that would actually be willing to do that, even though it's paid by the county. I think it's their time with family that's causing them not to want to go back to school. Most of that could be online,
Yeah.
and you can do it in 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
Ms. Foster?
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's good that you're looking forward because, as you know, the county does not have the money it did have. And so it's important, and I'm glad that you're doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that you may want to reach out to KCC, because they have all these programs. They may know some young people who are
Yes, ma'am.
hungry and is trying
And
to
that,
build
and that's
their
one of
career.
my goals is to go talk to the HVAC program when I go out there to see if I can get registered and everything else here in the next year. I'd like to engage with that guy to see how many people are coming out of that program that would qualify for what I'm looking for here. It's not just the HVAC part of it. That's a lesser part of it. I'm looking more towards the plumbing part because that's probably about 75% of our issues.
Right. Well, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a young guy, but I don't know if he.
I'm
he
looking
came
for
out of KCC.
Yeah, and we have to see if we
But I don't
can
know
get
if
one
he's
that's
in the union or
licensed.
not.
I mean, I have a guy on the look for right now that he's actually been in 30 years. I'm looking maybe for that guy that's looking to retire from a company and want to come work for the county. I'd like to have them both qualified in HVAC and plumbing. I do have a guy right now that's looking into it. He's been 30 plus years on his own, and he's maybe looking for a little bit of a change. So there's somebody out there. Like I said, this is all future. I just wanted to present it today as telling you I'm moving forward, looking into other things.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to come out of retirement.
Any other questions or comments? You're none? All right. Is there anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right. Well, have a great day. Thank you so much. Is there any old business? Is there any old business? Any new business? Is there any new business? Any other business? Any other business? Mr. Hess? Motion to adjourn, second by Federlin. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Anybody opposed? Same sign. Have a great day.